I am Sunny Keck. I live in Searcy, Arkansas, and I am a Sapphire Ambassador with Plexus. I started in November of 2014, and I have had one heck of a journey. And it has been hands down, the biggest gift of my life. But also the hardest thing I have ever done in my life. And that's what I'm going to talk to you guys about tonight. But first, you need to know my face isn't always this red. I just got back from the gym. I did a little bit of HIIT tonight. And when I say a little bit, I mean a bit. And threw up in my mouth a little bit because it was hard. So my face is red, and something about being a redhead is that my face will be red for like 2 hours after I do a hard workout. Anyway, so thank you guys for being here with me and bearing with me as I'm working through all of this stuff. But I just came from the gym. This is why I look the way I do. But this is the beauty of working Plexus, is that you can do that. You can be hot and sweaty and just came from the gym and change somebody's life. So what I want to talk to you guys about tonight, well, first let me preface this by saying Jordan came to me, and well, actually she messaged me and she was like, Sunny, I need some help. I need some insight. And I think I've been kind of like coined as the jewel that thinks differently, or maybe thinks outside of the box a little bit. And so Jordan came to me and had some questions because she's a good leader. Because she wants to know you guys better. She wants to understand you better so that she can help you reach your goals. And I think that's beautiful. And so she is working on some of her own things, and I wanted to come talk to you guys about some of the things that I've learned in working this business for 4 years now, which blows my mind. I can't even wrap my head around that. But okay, so the title of this was Shut Up Shame, because I want to just be able to tell shame to shut up and go away. Because in this business, I have had the most success I've ever had in my life, and I've also failed more than I have ever failed in my entire life. And with that comes shame. And I'm a social worker. Something you should know about me is that I was able to retire myself from social work. But before that, I worked on an acute psych unit for just under 5 years, acute and long-term psych unit, as a social worker. And so all that mental health, emotional stuff that you're like, what does that have to do with my business? I'm over here screaming, it has everything to do with your business. Personal development and growth have everything to do with your success or your failure in this business. It's not all about goals and numbers and hitting the ranks, and no, because there is so much that goes on between your ears that is going to lead you toward the direction of success or lead you down the path of failure. And I want to help you know what that looks like, because I have gone down that path of failure more times than I would like to admit. And it was not because people were telling me, no, not that kind of failure, but the failure of my own mind, the failure of letting shame take me down. And it took me down for, I'm sad to admit, probably like the past year. And it was slow and sneaky, and it got in there fast and hard. I have some definitions. What I was going to say is I'm a social worker, so I love Brené Brown and her work. I think it is incredibly revolutionary, and I think that it has the potential to change the fabric of our society completely. And I think everyone should know about her and read all of her work. But if you're not into that stuff, I'm going to give you a lot of her work tonight and just kind of sum up some of it, because I think it's that important. Okay, so a couple things to clarify. Shame is different than guilt, okay? Guilt is a healthy thing. If we know what we need to be doing and we're not doing it, guilt slips in. And guilt is a healthy thing. Guilt is adaptive and helpful pain. Guilt tells us when we aren't living up to or within our values, okay? Shame, on the other hand, is a completely different animal. And the thing is it can make you feel like it's guilt until it's not, and it's icky and it's a trap. Shame is intensely painful feeling or experience of believing that we are flawed and therefore unworthy of love and belonging. And I put, or meeting our goals. Somewhere along the way, despite having excellent leadership and despite people breathing life into me all the time, I started to believe, this is crazy, it is crazy that I started to believe and tell myself that what I had been doing all along in my business that had worked suddenly wasn't going to work anymore. Like, I had convinced myself that I could reach out to all these people, but it's not going to work for me anymore. What in the world? Of course it works. That's the only way it works. Like, I had convinced myself it wasn't going to work for me. But I have to tell you that shame is tricky, and it sneaks in, okay? And something that is important for us to know is that shame, we all react differently to shame, okay? So there's 3 different reactions to shame. Some of us move away, some of us move toward, and some of us move against it, okay? And you're probably going to see this in yourself, or if you haven't yet, you're going to see it in a teammate or a family member or something. But man, gosh, this hit me so spot on. Okay, but some people move away, and what they do is they withdraw, they hide, and they keep secrets. If you didn't reach your goal, or maybe you went backwards in rank, and you don't want anybody to know because it's shameful and it hurts and it makes you feel like you're not good enough and that you're unworthy, or maybe you're the person who doesn't have their blinders on and you're looking left and you're looking right and you're comparing yourself to this person who just added 5 people last month and you who only added 1, or got so close to adding somebody but didn't, and you get in that shame trap. You're the person who withdraws and you're like, well, I'm just not going to do anything, or this doesn't work for me, or I'm going to like just step out of this IPA group because I don't need it, right? Anyway, so that you move away. Some of you move away, withdraw, hide, keep secrets, aka ghost your upline who's like, hey, how's it going? And you're like, zip. Then there's some people who move toward, which is I'm like a mixture between move away and move toward, because the move toward people appease they're ultimate people pleasers, whatever others need to avoid disapproval. Oh my gosh, I'm an Enneagram 2, and I so relate to this because I will do just about anything for anyone else to get approval. True story. And it's led me down very unfulfilling paths because that meant I also accepted other people's goals instead of my own. And that made me resentful. Gross, right? Okay. And then the other response is move against. And this one's interesting to me. So these are the people who try to gain power over others by fighting back, hurting others before they have a chance to hurt us. Shame on shame on shame on shame. Proving that you're better than them, and that they were in the wrong before they have a chance to come back and tell you were in the wrong. I see someone saying withdrawer. Man, I feel that to my core, because when that happens, I withdraw. When I'm in shame, I withdraw. I don't do any of the things that I know that I need to do. I have that. It's interesting in this business. We know what we need to do, but the knowing and the doing gap grows wider and wider and wider for me when shame is in the picture. And so what happens if you're a withdrawer or you shut down is you don't talk to anyone about it. And you know what shame loves? Shame loves to be in secret. Shame loves to hide in the dark places in your mind and shut you down. and I hate it. I hate it so much. It makes me, I'm getting emotional over here because for a year, it shut me down. It kept me from doing what I knew I wanted to do, what I love. I love this business. I love the mission behind it, and shame has a way of shutting us down. And I'm not one to like come in and say the devil is against me or the devil has this power in my life, but the devil uses shame to shut us down. And this is where God comes in with his holy light and shines on us and shows us what we need to do. He shows us our value. He shows us how incredibly influential we are in truly changing people's lives. We are so powerful. I'm preaching, guys. I'm preaching in here. Okay. So shame is powerful and it can have a huge impact on us. And so what do? How do we get out of shame? Well, we have to be really courageous. And we have to tell somebody, I feel really bad that I didn't meet my goal. And for some reason, shame is telling me that I'm not good enough. Shame is telling me I'm not good at this. And you need people to surround you to bring you back up. True story. Maybe you need to forgive yourself. Maybe you need to ask for forgiveness from somebody that you hurt. That's what we need to do. Okay, but there's a few other things that I want to talk about some shame triggers really quick before I move on from this. Some shame triggers, and I've talked about this. You probably already know. You've heard them in your head. You're repeating exactly when shame hit you or slapped you in the face. But when that person shuts you down, when your aunt or uncle is really mean to you on Facebook or makes you feel stupid, or all those kind of things. So shame, fear of being irrelevant is one of the biggest ones. Not knowing what to do, so many changes happening and not knowing what to do, how to make it better, all of that. Not feeling understood, not being able to keep up, feeling like you're caught in this hamster wheel of not knowing what to do, putting yourself in comparison with the person next to you. Oh my gosh, that is so yuck. Shame corrodes the very part of us that believes we're capable of change. Okay, so the most success I ever had in this business, and some of you are very, Jordan, fear of being irrelevant. So this leads me to another thing. This is good. You guys are guiding me along. My notes are a hot mess. By the way, this is how my brain works. There's really no rhyme or reason, but this is all so powerful to me. It's like in my gut and I'm just spewing right now. Anyway, so the fear of being irrelevant. Some of us, because of that fear of being irrelevant, some of us work even harder and we're like, I gotta prove that I'm good. I gotta prove. And then some of us shut down and don't do anything and isolate ourselves, and neither of them are living a free life. And Beth Moore, I'm doing her study this next month with some people on my team, because the whole book is based on Isaiah 61, which is my favorite book chapter in all of the Bible. You should go read Isaiah 61 because I truly feel like that is my mission in Plexus. But anyway, she says a Christian is held captive by anything that hinders the abundant and effective spirit-filled life that God has planned for us. Shame is that for me. Shame shut me down. So what we're trying to do is live and break free from shame. So forgiving yourself is, I feel like, the first step in letting that shame come into the light. And I'll say that I had to, how I got out of that shame storm, some really powerful people, some really, really good therapy, learning about myself through the Enneagram. When I first was introduced to the Enneagram, I didn't want to have anything to do with it because it was telling you things about myself that I didn't want to hear. And it shut me down. Again, I was in that shutdown phase. Like, I don't want to know any more. Stop it. But once I really dug into that and got to know myself and got to know other people and got to know how I interact, self-development is so key. Therapy, self-development. I was able to dig in and get into those things. And then I started to get back to who am I? What is my value in doing this? Why do I love Plexus so much? I had to reconnect with that. I had to reconnect with my why. And it was a long battle to get back to that. And I realized when I was the most successful, I had this time in my mind when things were going really, really well. It wasn't for me. Other people are different. But for me, it wasn't because I had a very specific goal and I knew exactly what I was going to do and I had lists and all that kind of stuff. For me, it wasn't like that. I've never been that way. Trust me, I really want to be that way. I really want to be somebody who has all these goals lined out and knocks them out every single month and sets their mind to it and do it. That's never been me. But what I've been really good at is doing the little things that make a difference in my life. When I was the most successful, I had a big goal. I knew what I wanted to do and I knew I could get there, but I never had like very specific plans for it, because every day I didn't need those specific plans, because every day I was just doing the next thing to better myself and to better my life. I was doing life-changing activities every day, and it wasn't a pressure. I didn't feel responsible for anything. I didn't feel pressure, because it came from inside of me. It was my value. It was my goal that I wanted to do. And so it wasn't hard for me. So I needed to get back to doing that, like just little things. And guys, some of these little things were, for one, starting with forgiving myself for not being where I thought I was going to be, and forgiving myself for not meeting those goals. But to get back to those daily life-changing activities. So forgive myself. I needed to dream again. I need to allow myself to think about what it's going to be like for my family when I get to Diamond and when I get beyond that. I had to start surrounding myself with positive. And every day, whether you like Rachel Hollis or you don't, Rachel Hollis has a Start Today journal, and I start every day with it. Jess gave it to me, and it's incredibly valuable. I start my day with 5 things I'm grateful for and 10 dreams that I made happen. My best self in 10 years, what is it going to look like? The 10 dreams that I made happen, and I write them as if they are right now. And then I have the goal I'm going to achieve first. And this was really big for me, and maybe some of you guys can relate. It does not help me to have a big, huge, massive goals that I see every single day, because they overwhelm me. I need that one thing I'm going to work on tangibly right now. And I think it's because my personality is a very present-focused person. So I have to have a very present-focused goal, and it keeps me on track instead of being overwhelmed, okay? So I surround myself with positive, that gratitude, that moving forward. I had to get back to learning daily. I had to get back to watching videos daily. These products have changed so much, so many changes so fast. Again, that's a shame. Quickly, shame can get in. When there's so many changes so fast, you feel behind. I had to get caught back up on what the new products are. And instead of going, I just don't know any of it anymore, so and letting that shut me down, which is what shame can do. So little by little, learning something. Sharing what I learned. I love to share what I know. One of my favorite things. And so that was a value of mine. Why wasn't I doing that daily anymore? Affirming myself with that journal. Gratitude. Belief building every single day. Watching something, learning something. Belief in myself and belief in this company. Okay, and then small daily movements, posting on Facebook daily, or making sure that they're valuable posts. Okay, and I had to break it all down and break down all those all those goals that I had put on myself from others, and get back to what I needed to do. Okay, so posting, reaching out genuinely to people, and not getting mad at myself and shutting down if I didn't do what I thought I needed to do. Somehow I had this number in my head or this expectation. It has to be mine. And so that is what gets me out. And I find that every day I do, guys, I hate the term IPA. I always have hate the term IPA, income producing activities. It just doesn't motivate me. But life-changing activities 100% motivate me. So I have to do, if I want to change lives, I have to reach out to people. And if I want to change my life, I have to do the things daily in order to put good into my life. You got it? You follow me? Okay. This quote by Francis of Assisi, St. Francis says, "Start by doing what's necessary, then do what's possible, and suddenly you are doing the impossible." When I was starting my journey with Plexus, I wrote down my goal as being diamond, and that felt, as I wrote down my goal as emerald at first. It felt totally impossible. Completely. Not even a chance. Are you kidding me? But I did the small things every day, and that's what led me to getting there. It's when I stopped doing those small things every day that it didn't happen. And it's like, in hindsight, it seems so duh. Like, this is not rocket science. This business is not rocket science. But getting past shame is freaking hard. And it takes work, and it takes courage, and it takes you saying, I am going to do this. And that's not easy. That is not something that you can write a formula for, because it's going to look different for every single person. But it is so necessary. And I hope you all are able to do that. So, okay, Brene Brown says that when in her work in the book Dare to Lead, which is fantastic. It's a wonderful book, and I highly recommend that every single one of you read that if you are a leader of even one person on your team. She says the thing she learned was, 1, the level of collective courage in an organization is the absolute best predictor of that organization's ability to be successful in terms of its culture to develop leaders and to meet its mission. Do you hear that? We are going to have to be ridiculously courageous in order to meet our mission. And you got to get in touch with your personal mission, your value behind why you do this. For me, this business could not fit better into my life, into my goals of helping people in the darkest places of their lives. I want to shine light, give hope, and share health with them. And that's what this business does. And I had let that shame shut me down. Shame corrodes the very part of us that believes we're capable of change. Man, that sucks. I wasted so much time in shame. Okay, so start by doing what's necessary, then do what's possible, and suddenly you're doing the impossible. So courage is what is the number one indicator of how good you're going to do in this business. And then the second one she said is courage can be learned, and if we can take down the armor, and we can rumble I hate it when I can't read my own writing. And rumble. Oh yeah, okay, sorry. Courage can be learned if we can take down the armor and rumble with it. Rumble with the shame. Where did this come from? What thought is this? How can I shut this down? How can I have better affirmations? How can I apologize? How can I forgive myself? How can I remind myself that God's mercies are new every single morning? I may have not met my goal yesterday, but that doesn't mean today has to be the same as yesterday. So if we are truly living within our values, then we can have the courage to truly make a difference. Okay, and then the third one, and I think this one is huge. We fail the very minute that we allow someone else to define success for us. This is your life. This is your goal. Your goal may not be as high of a number of reach outs as the other person. Your goal may not be to recruit 10 people a month. Your goal may be to truly get into the trenches with someone and to change their life from the inside out. Your goal may look different than other people. And that is okay, because you continuing to work toward your goal is better than you shutting down and not working toward anything. You need to set your own goals. And sometimes you may not know what those goals are, but getting to your values is where you get to your goals in life. So every day, getting back into life-changing activity for yourself, forgiving yourself for letting shame shut you down, and believing that you are influential. Because whether you like it or not, you are influential. You're influencing people for the good or for the bad. This is hard for me because I'm one of those people who doesn't think that I have influence. John Maxwell talks about there being this great divide in leadership, and there's people who think too highly of themselves, and there's people who think too lowly of themselves, and both of them are sins, honestly. So I'm the one who tends to land on the side of thinking too lowly of themselves, and then there's people on the other side who think they have all the answers and that you need to listen to them, and if you just listen to them, then everything would be okay. Man, that is a hard thing to deal with on both sides of leadership. And you will learn as you guys become leaders that being a leader is hard. It is so hard. So give grace for your leaders. But I have a tendency to think too lowly of myself and think that I don't have influence, which is just, it's a lie. That's a lie that I believed for far too long. And so if you think you don't have influence, and you're not going to be reaching out to people, but if you're not reaching out to people, you're also influencing them by telling them that Plexus doesn't matter or it isn't good enough to talk to them about. You only know, you know so many people that I'm never going to know. And you have influence over those people that I will never have influence over. And so we can't do it without you. You truly are the person who can change someone's life. And being yeah, I think I'm rambling at this point, but I think you guys get my heart behind this. Being in shame and being in a bad place is it's never an excuse for not living within your values. So I don't want you to hear any of this and be like, oh, I'm in shame, so I don't have to do anything. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm saying you need to set your own goals and get back to the power that is within you, the person that God created you to be, to break free from the stronghold of shame and tell it to shut up and get back to changing lives, no matter what speed you do it at. If you are changing lives, you are going in the right direction. So get back to daily life-changing activities and go change some lives. You owe it to yourself and the people in your life to do that. Guys, thank you for letting me talk with you. Obviously, I needed to get that out. Tears were flowing. It was something that I needed, obviously. Some healing that I still need to do, but that's a part of this. It's just a journey. We are all on this journey together. So thanks for listening. I hope you guys have a wonderful night, and I hope you live within your values this next month and this whole year. Bye, guys.